We got every Oktoberfest we could find.
To see which one is the best.
Let's get drinking.
All right, let's start with import beers. What do we got here?
Well, we got the Bitburger Fest Beer. Oktoberfest, we got two different styles. We got the Märzen, which is kind of a more amber, darker one, a little richer, maltier. Then we got the Fest Beer, which is kind of a lighter lager. I think they're both lagers, if I'm not mistaken. It's got a good kind of orange golden hue, but it's still on the lighter side. So this one, the Bitburger, is from Bitburg, Germany, if you could believe such a thing. So let's give it a try.
This has got a great rating on Beer Advocate. It's got a score of 88 with almost 100 reviews. So
it smells like a German beer.
It tastes pretty good.
Yes, this is a very typical fest beer.
I feel like it's got a bit more sweetness, maybe a little bit more sweetness than you taste.
It does. Typically. It finishes well. Yeah. So there's body to this, which you don't always get in these fest beers.
Good beer to start off with.
I'd agree with an 88, kind of a B+ right here.
Yeah. It's not blowing me away, but it's good. It's a solid Oktoberfest.
Next we got Erdinger Oktoberfest.
Another fest beer. This one looks a little lighter than the last one we did.
Looks a little hazy too.
Look at that, a little haze. It's a much more kind of straw-colored, golden straw-colored thing.
Maybe a little bit more sour on the nose than the previous one.
I think this is better than the Bitburger. Ironically, on Beer Advocate, it has a score.
It's 5 points lower.
It has an 83 on Beer Advocate, but it has many more reviews. The last one only had 90-something. This has 350.
Yeah, I would say this is a better fest beer.
Yeah.
It's got a dry finish, too.
This, I could see you not being able to drink as much. It sits a little heavier on the stomach already after a few sips, but there's more complexity here, I think.
I don't know if you gave this to me if I would say it's an Oktoberfest. Like, it doesn't taste like a Märzen at all.
Yeah. And it's the fest beer style. So you know, in Germany they almost consider we're gonna get a lot of German hatred now, but it's almost like a Miller kind of equivalent.
That's not
bad.
Not bad, folks.
Let's keep going.
Up next, we have the Hofbräu Oktoberfest. This is a well-known brand. I think I've heard of this more than the other ones we've tried so far.
Yeah, you see these in the little mini kegs, you know, a lot of times. But yeah, you see that same fest beer, kind of light, kind of golden straw color here.
Not hazy like the last one we had.
This one is a little more on the nose, kind of almost like a Heineken kind of like nose to it.
Not as sour smelling.
Yeah. That's good. It's crisp. It's drinkable.
It's very light.
It is a bit more sweet. Like it's not as sweet as the first one. Like I don't remember the name. Beer Advocate. This has an 80, but it also has a lot more reviews.
This is one of the more popular.
This has
imports.
This has 1,000 ratings. Yeah. So this is more than the ones we've looked at so far. Yeah. Definitely a strong contender.
Wait a minute. Stop everything. We've been saying it wrong. It's not Märzen. It's Märzen.
So next up,
Märzen from München.
It's our first Märzen of the group, and this is Warsteiner.
You see this a lot in the. It's got the München flag design here.
Yeah, very Bavarian flag.
Bavarian flag. It's a beautiful golden color.
Yeah, it looks like the fest beers, but it is labeled a Märzen.
Yeah, it's not as dark as.
The nose is different.
The nose, kind of almost like a roastier malt to it. It's got a more depth.
Yep, that's a Märzen.
Very toasty.
Yeah, toasty. Yeah.
This is more of what I think of with Oktoberfest.
This is like, beer. I'm having a fun festival on a beer.
Yeah.
It feels like fall.
On Beer Advocate, they scored a 79 with 500 ratings. So it's, you know, maybe not the favorite of people out there.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really good. I think so far the Erdinger is my favorite.
Is my favorite too.
And it's weird. That tasted great.
Yeah, so Warsteiner is from Warstein, Germany, if you didn't understand by the accent. Next up, from the great state of Bavaria, that makes it seem like it's in the U.S., but it's not. It's in Germany. From München, from Munich, is the Hacker Pschorr. And I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. I'm pretty sure it's Hacker Pschorr.
It's like Jersey Shore, but Hacker Pschorr.
It's the Hacker Pschorr. So this is a Märzen. This is one of the more popular ones. And we can see this is one of the darker ones that we've come across. So we get more into that amber colored, kind of like deep bronze almost color.
Oh yeah, that's really good.
That's my favorite thus far.
Yeah, that was great.
So far, this is like fall in a glass. This is the perfect Oktoberfest. beer so far.
Deep malt that finishes well, doesn't linger in a sweet kind of too heavy on your stomach. The Erdinger held on too long, and I was like, I could only drink maybe 1 or 2 of these. This one, this is the one that gets you in trouble.
On Beer Advocate, it's got an 89 with almost 1,200 votes, so
wow.
That's a good sign. Ranked number 14 of all Märzens on Beer Advocate. Yeah, I would say, so the Erdinger is really good. It's my second favorite. The big difference is that if you put that and this side by side, I'm like, this is the Oktoberfest. That's just a good beer. So if you want like pure Oktoberfest feeling, you want to get into the feeling of Oktoberfest. So far of what we tried, this is definitely the number 1. All right, here we got the Ayinger Authentic Oktoberfest Lager. I'm very excited to try this one. I mean, the bottle looks amazing, amazing presentation.
So another Märzen. This is from Ayinger, Germany. Yeah, the Pschorr is a little more on the kind of the brown, bronzy kind of look. The nose,
very, oh man. I mean, it makes sense. So give away a little bit on Beer Advocate. This has a score of 90 with 1,700 ratings. So that is a good sign.
This is like when you walk into a bakery.
Yeah,
and you smell that whole oat, or that oat bread or whole wheat bread baking.
So Pschorr so far is the one to beat. Let's see, can this do it?
It's different.
It's different. Yeah,
I think this is more complex. But I could see people preferring the Pschorr because this one is definitely, it definitely appears as people who like a darker beer. So like those toasted, malty cereal notes.
The Warsteiner and the Pschorr, I think they're more my style. It's a lighter version of the Märzen.
Yeah.
This one, it takes it to another level, kind of almost in a different category.
I can see why it got the ratings it did. So that is the last of our imports. What do we think the big winner was?
This and the Pschorr neck and neck. I'd probably say Pschorr just because I feel like there was something about it that really popped. Yeah. Like it really just said, fall.
Yeah.
The leaves are orange. They're coming down around you. The winter, it's cold. You're wearing a sweater. You're drinking Pschorr. I mean, this is also excellent. But I'm just looking at it in terms of me coming into it looking for an Oktoberfest.
You see how much I'm smelling this? I love the aroma of this more than the Pschorr, but I think the Pschorr takes it in the taste department, which obviously is the more important thing when you're talking a beer. I give my edge to the Pschorr.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
So of the imports from Germany, Pschorr is the king of the import Märzens, and I think we all agreed that when it comes to the Fest beer, which is a different style of beer, that we all liked the Erdinger the most. So Erdinger for Fest beer, Pschorr for Märzens for the imports. So now we're moving on to U.S. Oktoberfest. Can they compete with the authentic German Bavarian Oktoberfest? Let's see.
So for our first domestic U.S. Oktoberfest Märzen, we've got Yuengling Oktoberfest from Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
All right, well, first of all, let's look at this color. So that is a deep amber color, almost got kind of like an orangey brownness to it. Deep kind of that maltiness, very sweet. I'm expecting a little sweetness here, so let's give it a taste.
Okay, that's got a surprising taste, not in a good way.
It's weak, it ends too soon. Yeah, there's no body to it.
It's not as complex.
To me, you smell it and it's like, oh, Oktoberfest, and then you taste it and it's like, is this
Yuengling?
Yeah, it's like, okay, it was Yuengling. Yeah,
Yuengling has it has a place in our hearts always.
Yeah, I love Yuengling, but you would if you gave me that and just said it's Yuengling, I might not realize it was not real, like just regular Yuengling.
There's not much going on here.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to Yuengling. Like, this is a solid beer, but if we're talking about the battle of the Oktoberfest,
the battle of the Märzen,
it can't compete.
And we haven't even tried any other domestics yet.
So Beer Advocate with 130 votes is a 77. So it's okay, it's not bad. Like, this is a respectable beer. I wouldn't feel ashamed having this at an Oktoberfest party. Like, this is a decent Oktoberfest Märzen style.
And I think on the nose, we got some good stuff going on. But in the taste, it just falls flat. All right, next we have a national brand. It's a little less known, but we like to give a little space for some of the smaller guys. So here we got from Breckinridge, we have their Oktoberfest. It's also a Märzen. So already we see a very nice dark, kind of almost like iced tea color to this one. On the nose, ooh, that is very toasted malty.
Yeah, another thing I'm noticing, not as much head, not very much lacing as compared to the other ones we've done. It's, you know, maybe a little bit more still. Like, just like the carbonation seems different.
Big, rounded, kind of robust, grainy, cereal maltiness to it. That was like a 50 adjectives in a row.
Very good. The only thing I could give it a knock for is that I feel like it ends way too quickly. Like, you take a sip, you get this big flavor, and then there's like no finish.
Yeah, no, I get that. And some people like that really abrupt, clean finish. They don't want it to linger.
On Beer Advocate, we got an 83 rating, but not many ratings. We only have 16 ratings, but the people who have tried it like it. I like it.
But it doesn't wow me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better than the Yuengling.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we can do better.
Coming to you next from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, is the Leinenkugel. Leinenkugels. All right, so this is a Märzen style. What's interesting about this is the lowest ABV beer that we've tried so far. So everything we've tried is north of like 5.6, maybe even higher, like 5.8 and higher.
Average is probably a 6.
This is a 5.1. So I wonder if that's going to translate into a different taste.
It is subdued, like,
yeah, it's not
toasty malt,
bursting,
but it's not like a bouquet, if you will. That you can smell it, but it isn't like coming through your olfactory senses and like overwhelming you in a good way.
It's good, but I feel like we're getting that translation of the 5.1 ABV. It feels like there's not much there. I feel like the difference is the last one had a big taste that finished really fast, which made it seem even weirder.
Yeah.
This one is a little bit more balanced, but it's because it like finishes fast, but it didn't have much to
never
begin
went
with.
up that high.
And it's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
I think this would be a good one. If this and the Yuengling would be good if you're having an Oktoberfest party and you got a bunch of people who don't really like Oktoberfest style. They're not really beer drinkers. Yeah. You're just trying to get like, this is sort of what Oktoberfest is like. Try this out. They'll like this.
Next, we have the Great Lakes Oktoberfest Märzen style lager from Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we got a good color here, the kind of that bronzy copperiness.
Yeah.
There's the malt there, but it isn't that deep kind of bold roast that we've had in some.
And kind of an underlying sweetness to it as well.
The sweetness does come through a lot.
Oh yeah, it is very sweet.
And some people like that. I mean, I actually can appreciate sweet and dry, and I actually like this a lot. It's smooth, it's balanced, it's got the touch of sweetness.
Well, guys, this on Beer Advocate has a 90 rating, outstanding, with 1,800 ratings. So
I agree with that that assessment. I say this is solidly in the A- category.
It's ranked as the #4 Märzen on Beer Advocate.
Wow.
So,
and that's I feel like this is the most authentic of the U.S. domestic beers we've tried.
I would agree with
so
that.
far, yeah.
I think this is the one to beat.
Next up, we've got Warsteiner Oktoberfest, all the way from Texas.
The color is a little less ambery than the other ones.
More gold.
Yeah, it's more on the yellow gold kind of side, but still got a little depth there.
Yeah, good lace.
Yeah, I think it's lighter on the malt.
Yeah. It's mildly toasty, not as muted as the Breckinridge.
It's not big and bold.
Let's see how it tastes.
See how it tastes. The smell belies the taste. I think the taste is much bigger than what the smell would make you think.
It's decent. I say this is a crowd pleaser kind of a beer.
Yeah.
It's not one that's gonna it's not gonna make you remember it. It fills all the categories that you want. That kind of roasted malt, a little bit of sweetness. There's just not a lot of complexity to it.
And on Beer Advocate, it has a 77 score, which is okay, with about 350 reviews. Comparing this to the Great Lakes, This isn't bad. Like, I feel like
not bad,
they're
no.
neck and neck. I feel like, I mean, so far, I feel like this is maybe the number 2 for me that we've tried.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, this
for the
is-
domestics, number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and last but not least, the final beer of our Oktoberfest reviews is the Sam Adams Oktoberfest. This is a beloved beer of many of you, and it is a Märzen style. And if we give a look at the color here, we see this is one of the darker ones.
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
like an orangey brown kind of a glow to it, and it looks beautiful in the glass.
Yeah, and for many of us in the U.S., especially on the East Coast, this is probably our introduction
yeah.
to Märzen, like the first Oktoberfest many beer drinkers in the U.S. have.
Yeah. So on the nose, what's really striking about this, it's got that roasty malt, but it's bright.
But it does have, it's like the very classic Oktoberfest aroma. And I mean, you know, like I've had this beer so many times.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not surprised by any of this. And maybe because it's the first Oktoberfest that I had, and probably you guys had too. So let's taste it and we'll see like what do we at now that we've tried every other Märzen and whatever, how does this compare?
I think it's super interesting trying this after we've tried all of the German ones and all the other domestic ones we've had.
I think the mouthfeel of this is the smoothest of all of them. The flavors are mellow, though. I wouldn't say this is a 1-2 punch of flavor.
It just does everything right, and it's not like standing out too much, but it's like it's getting the Märzen style perfectly. Like there's no mistaking this is a Märzen.
Yeah, it's got a bit of sweetness, full-bodied, finishes nicely. The complexity throughout it, I still might give the edge to Great Lakes, but this is very close second for me.
This is very much made for the entire like U.S. like normal middle of the road drinking beer culture.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, so, and on Beer Advocate, it's got a score of 83 with almost 6,000 ratings. So it's clearly a favorite of many.
Yeah, case in point right there, that has 6,000 votes. And on Beer Advocate, all the second
Yeah.
highest is probably like what, 1,800?
Yeah.
The Great Lakes just has a little more character throughout the
Yeah.
taste.
I would agree.
But this one it is crisp. The mellow sweetness of the malt is kind of there throughout. Ends well, and beautiful color. No, I say for me this comes a close second.
Almost a virtual tie with Great Lakes having an edge, but there's a big distinction here is that this is 5.3% alcohol. Great Lakes is 6.5. So it's like, it gives kind of an edge because of that extra body and all that.
All right, now we have our head-to-head matchup. Our U.S. domestic beer, the Great Lakes Oktoberfest from Cleveland, Ohio, versus the Hacker Pschorr from Germany.
All right, so in our bulbous glasses here, we have the Hacker Pschorr. So just kind of doing a head-to-head on the color, the Hacker Pschorr is lighter. They both kind of got that good kind of like amber brownness goodness to it. So Hacker Pschorr has that kind of more like, you know, like we said before, the kind of Heineken-y nose to it. The Great Lakes, that sweeter kind of maltiness to it.
Yeah, when you smell the Hacker Pschorr, it's like, oh yeah, that's a European beer.
That's a European beer, exactly.
Yeah. Let's go back to the German one.
Yeah, let's do
go
this.
back to Hacker Pschorr.
Kind of the big flavor that just kind of pulls through, ends well. There's great body throughout, and then the Great Lakes. I said Great Lakes is sweeter.
Yeah, it's got a brighter flavor.
This is hard. I don't like finding a winner between the two. I mean,
they're even though they're both Märzens, right? They don't taste like the same style.
I feel like it's hard to rate them like neck and neck because they're kind of
think it really comes down to the sweetness. What you can stand as far as sweetness. Great Lakes is sweeter. Hacker Pschorr is a more classic kind of beer. If you're a German beer fan, obviously you're gonna go for Hacker Shore. Great Lakes, though, if you appreciate more of the sweetness of the malt, kind of like that bigger, robust body, yeah, the Great Lakes definitely is sweeter.
I think it just depends if you drink American beer and you want to get into Märzen's or Oktoberfest style, then you should probably pick up the Great Lakes. But if you want to be like, I want what they have in Germany, then I would go for Hacker Shore.
I would say, though, Great Lakes is going to be your crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the one that, you know, especially people of American palates, just on the sweeter side, you know, this is the one that you want. If I had to choose one or the other, I would go Great Lakes. I'm gonna stick up for the home team, being like an obvious, like, this is Oktoberfest. This is a Märzen.
I think that's fair. I'd feel comfortable giving Great Lakes the best overall Oktoberfest that we've tried. Yeah.
And then our close runners-up for each, the domestic and the import, was Sam Adams for the U.S. domestic and Erdinger. Tell us your favorite Oktoberfest beer in the comments.
And stay tuned for our review of pumpkin ales.
Join us, won't you?